Hey, what's up? This is Naya Ali. You're watching the Get to Know series by the lens of Yashu. More life, less names. I actually started it last year, so it's been in the vault for a little bit, almost a year. It came about like I was just, I had to let a few emotions out that were kind of weighing down on me a little bit at that time. As you move forward with your career, with things, with life, it's just having the acceptance of not everybody can be on your guest list anymore. And even those that were there in the beginning have to, they naturally remove themselves, and you have to come to peace with that and accept that process and choose life, right? Like, it doesn't have to be dramatic. If you find yourself, in a situation that doesn't help you grow or it's not for you, right? And you have to walk away. You can always get off the train. Right? Oh man, it's I like to go into studio, into session like with a blank canvas, basically. Maybe with a vibe, with maybe like something that inspires me or with a feeling, but really just go into the studio with a blank canvas and just create from there, with my producer, and just freestyle on the mic, create the beat from scratch. And I feel like I kind of let the song create itself. As I'm freestyling on the mic, I'm gonna come up with certain words, a theme would like emerge from itself. It's like I never choose like I'm gonna talk about this in my song. You know what I mean? It's just I make room for it to form itself naturally. So that's the creative process. Is just to get into the flow, find a pocket in the song, and then just structure that thing. That opportunity arose. It was through like mutual connections. My production company, my tour management, that had, they knew the organizers of that campaign, and it just sort of happened super naturally. They invited me to be part of the project, and I couldn't say no, right? It's such an important campaign, and it's such an important campaign that we all owe it to ourselves and to the kids to make sure that their mental health is at the forefront. Oh, definitely. I mean, the thing is what's special with that is that there was the Toronto recording, and then there was also the Montreal recording. So I was with the Montreal recording, right? I didn't record with like Roy Woods and all the Toronto peeps here. But we had one in Quebec, which was the same thing, right? It was basically a room where all these artists won't necessarily be in the same room at the same time, ever, and to be in that space and opportunity to be together towards this phenomenal, initiative, it meant a lot. And even when we were in studio, we were just like, damn, when would be the last time like I would be in a space with you like this creatively? And they're like, damn, yeah, we should do this more often. But then it doesn't happen, what I mean? Schedules and all that, but like just to be in a space with other creatives, and not necessarily in your genre, but we're all like, striving for the same thing, and just all have the same like values, and just the same vibe and same drive. It just, I think something beautiful can always come out of that. And kudos to the whole, to Serena Ryder and the whole campaign, Kids Help Own, and Belle. Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I think being an artist is like any other thing too, right? I mean, obviously there's like, it's a different lifestyle, a different pace sometimes. But with anything, like we're all human, and we deal with the same things. You know what I mean? We deal with anxiety, we deal with pressure. Maybe even more pressure, because like when you're in front of the public too, like everything is out in the open too, right? Then there's like the whole like, just being an artist is just putting yourself out there and just sharing something so intimate with the world, and having the world judge it too, right? That puts an added pressure to it. But yeah, definitely, man. I'm human, I definitely deal with all these emotions. I definitely have some kind of ADHD too. So yeah, and that I came to realize that a little bit later on in life. But you know, it allowed me to understand how my brain works in certain ways and certain functions, and why I do the things that I do. So for me, it's important that I keep a structure. If I don't have a structure, then I get super overwhelmed. And so that's basically how, you know, if I need the routine, I need the structure, I need to follow this, or else it's all hell breaks loose, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I use my music as therapy. That, you know, I don't really, you know, I don't say these things out. I do, but like it's subliminal. I don't know, if you really listen to the lyrics, then you'll notice I'm saying some really deep shit. But the music itself is my therapy, and how I deal with these emotions, how I process them. But it's also important to have a good support system. People that you can, you know, that remind you of who you are and that you can go to and rely on. Yeah, and also for me, it's just like, you know, spirituality is an important aspect of that too. So just having these bases that keep me grounded, you know, as opposed to being up in the air all the time. That's a good question. I mean, honestly, I realized it once I was in the industry, you know what I mean? And that once I saw, like, you know, how the industry in itself is like developing, right? I think it's kind of like it can reflect how Toronto was also in its infancy with, you know, hip hop and all that. And it's seen, I feel like we're still figuring out our sound. We're still figuring out, like, you know, when you hear something, you're not like, oh shit, that's from Montreal. Not yet, at least, right? But it's in an infant stage, man. But like, it's a beautiful thing to see, because it's just, you see it grow, you know, in front of your eyes. Yeah, well, I'm working on the next project. Super excited about that. It's called We Did the Damn Thing. And the ethos behind that is like, when I win, we win. And it's like, it's way beyond me. It's bigger than me. It reflects, you know, the culture. It reflects the community from which I come from, the city, the country. Representation is super important, right? So it's like, look how far we've come, man. Like, just as Black people, like, damn, we're like the most magical people on this earth, I believe. And it's just like, we've come such a long way, and there's still obviously ways to go, but it's like, I came to realize, you know, off of the last project and everything, I can't let my ambition block me from seeing my blessings, you know? So recognize like how far you've come, like you made it through that. And I'm talking to myself, and I'm talking to anybody that it resonates with. Like, you remember that time where you were like, damn, I can't do it. Like, I don't see a way out. But you're here today. You made it out. You did it. You did the damn thing. You know what I mean? So it's motivation. It's an anthem for that. Hey, this is Naya Ali. Thanks for watching the Get to Know series by the Lens of Yashu.